Welcome to Business Unmuted Live, a video business discussion on Wednesday the 16th of June 2021, which is later shared on platforms including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Today we're discussing and celebrating innovation in the North. Here with me in the studio is Dr. Arnab Basu, CEO and founder of Kromek Group plc, and down the line we've got Sharon Lane, Managing Director of Tees Components, and Jamie Ollivere, spelt differently to the TV chef, Managing Director of RTC North. But let's start with big business news of the week. On Monday, the Prime Minister announced that the prospective reopening date of the 21st of June has been pushed back to the 19th of July. Many organisations have already returned to the office and the workplace, but what could this delay mean for business? I tell you what, let's start by picking that up with you, Sharon. Your people are all back, aren't they, with caution, but what do you think about the general news you heard from Boris?
I thought it was the right decision for us. We manufacturing, so we've been on site all the way through, and we need to be on site to be able to carry out our work. We can't work from home. We've got real concerns about business continuity now that the infection rates are increasing. The vaccination program has been a huge success, but we're concerned about the rates slowing, and really I think we need that additional time to get more of the population vaccinated. We've got a lot of young people on our site. We've got a lot of apprentices. We've got something like 20% of our workforce is under 25. And so we've still got a significant risk there. And even if we're not worried anymore about being at risk for serious illness, we've all still got to quarantine for 10 days if anybody's infected. We're still seeing lots of problems with travel. So our revenue for the last year has been around 20% down because we can't export our service engineers. And we've seen how strict travel restrictions are in other countries such as the US and Singapore. And it's really frustrating for us that we still can't get overseas to carry out our work because of the spread of the new variant. So from our point of view, we've got to get this under control, and I'd much rather see this delay to reopening to be able to do that.
Well, I've got to admit, I can see your point of view, and I see your point of view on travel. My daughter has been quite ill. She lives in America. She's recovered from a major operation, and I'd love to go and see her, but I can't, and I haven't seen her for 18 months, so I get it. That's a more social than business reason. But some of me says, Sharon, that with so few deaths and so few hospitalisations, we've got to grit our teeth and learn to live with COVID. But if it's 4 more weeks, I can buy into what you're saying. Jamie, what do you think?
I think for us as a service business, we're less impacted than people like Tees Components, I would say. And we've actually gone digital. We went digital in the space of a month last year, and it's actually added a lot to our business in terms of how we work, how we deliver services to clients. So it's actually been, it's been great for us. For other people who have to be there, I understand it's much more of an issue when you have to keep an operation running and you have to manufacture. And we see similar challenges for all our clients. Service businesses, it's been fine. Manufacturing businesses have got on and done what they had to do to get by. I think whether a month delay, it's not going to impact us too much. What difference is it going to make to the whole COVID, the increase in COVID rates? I'm not so sure. If the rate is growing, COVID rates are growing rapidly now. I don't see what another month doing the same thing we're doing now is going to change. Really.
I think that's where I fall. But for 4 weeks, well, let's get it over and make it irreversible. Sharon and Jamie, have you both had double jabs? You're too young to have double jabs, Sharon, I'm quite sure. Have you had double jabs yet?
I had my second yesterday. I've got a poorly arm, I've got a sore arm. And I think that's the thing, is that the reason for the extra month, hopefully, is to really push the vaccination programme on and get, open it up to over 18s and get those young people vaccinated. And that's the problem, is that currently, even if you're double vaccinated, if you've been in close contact with somebody who's infected, 21-year-old, you still have to go home 10 days. And that's the problem now. It's about business continuity. It's about keeping schools, education going, businesses going. And that's why it's a worry. It's not a worry anymore for our health, mainly. I get that. But it's a worry for us all to stop grinding to a halt, really. That's the concern.
Arnab Basu, what was your take on Boris's decision?
I think it was the right decision. And if 4 weeks buys us a little bit more time to really get further ahead in the vaccination program, it will help. It will help the health service, but also it'll protect health of the people. The main concern is that, we have seen over the last few months that new mutations are causing problems. So as long as we are going forward and not having to take a backward step, I think businesses will cope with this delay. But as a manufacturing business and a business which innovates in number of areas, it is certainly a concern that without having people on site, it's very difficult to do certain things. International travel, I used to be traveling 60% of my time, sitting in front of clients, sitting in my other factories in US, and that I can't do, and that all affects. So hopefully we will have to find solutions which will allow us to get back to a sense of normality, and that can only be done with better technology, better innovation.
Great segue, because I want to ask about some technology you've developed. I'm going to run a bit of videotape now, and people can see a bit of kit. We'll run it a couple of times while you're talking. Tell us the things that you've been developing at Kromek, and what do you think they could do to help everyone open up?
Kromek is known as, traditionally we are a radiation detection technology company, but over the last 30 months or so, we have been working on biopathogen detection together with the US Department of Defense. One of the things that we have done over the last few months as part of our Innovate UK program is developed a COVID-19 specific detection device. It's a fully autonomous and automatic airborne COVID-19 detection system. So it can sit in a corner of a room, in an airport lobby, or in a school, or in a hospital, and actually detect sample air and provide the indication whether COVID is there or not.
On the videotape, you can see it looks a little bit like a photocopier in size and scale. So it sits in the corner of a room and just sucks air out and samples it.
That's it. It's a fully autonomous piece of equipment, costs around £20,000, and it can really make a big impact in terms of augmenting track and trace, augmenting how to target testing perhaps, or even how to decontaminate, more effective decontamination. So it's one piece of the jigsaw. As we have seen a few months back, we were thinking vaccine is the silver bullet and everything is just going to work out. But as we are already talking about our booster doses maybe in the autumn, because this virus is mutating, this virus is changing its shape and form, and we have to stay a step ahead of this. And technology will have to play a massive role in getting us back to that normality.
Well, that brings us to the next stage of our discussion, and we'll come back to this development and innovation you've discussed in a moment. In the spring budget of 2021, the Chancellor announced there would be a review of research and development tax credit schemes. Two forms of tax relief are currently available for companies for certain R&D qualifying expenditure. The first is for SMEs and the second for targeted larger companies. Jamie, you're at RTC North, and I know that you're well into this innovation space. Are R&D tax credits doing their job at the moment?
I think there's a lot more uptake that to be had. To be honest, I think there's some good schemes out there, and the government have done well over the last year. In terms of providing support for business, financial, what have you. R&D tax credits are another tool in the locker, if you like. And I think reading up on the 130% relief on profit for R&D expenditure, it can be quite confusing, to be honest. So I think there's a bit of translation needed to be done there. So, but I mean, it's a fab scheme. But again, it's the same as the R&D tax credits of the past sort of 4 or 5 years. The uptake hasn't been great, so we've got to keep promoting it and keep pushing it.
Sharon, you are running some extremely good, high-end, innovative industrial processes. I'm running some videotape as you're speaking in a moment. What do you think about the government's R&D tax relief regime, and are you having super deductions going forward?
Yeah, the R&D tax relief is really important for SMEs like us. That's because we work with OEMs across the UK in their new product development, and we're manufacturing prototypes for their new components and carrying out design for manufacture exercises. And there's a lot of risk, technical risk and commercial risk with carrying out that work. R&D tax credits mean that we can undertake that work, we can offer that flexibility to OEMs in the UK and say, yes, we're happy to develop this with you. That, to be honest, without R&D tax credits, we would either not take that risk or we would become commercially uncompetitive, and it could potentially go out of the UK into a different supply chain. So it's just absolutely crucial, and I really hope that ministers understand, that really does make a big difference to our ability to be that innovative, flexible, supportive supply chain to British OEMs.
Now, in a minute, I'm going to talk to Arnab about how he's got core funding for some of his products, which have come from the US Department of Defense. He'll explain that in a minute. But I know that, Sharon, some of your products, which are very high end, have been related to defense spending, haven't they? You've got these propellers that go under ships that are designed to be difficult for submarine and sonar to spot, that you do, and you've got IP related to that. How important is that element, defence spending and future thinking, to your business?
Yes, so we do carry out a significant amount of work domestically for defence, and we've seen quite a lot of reshoring over recent years as well, which has been really positive for us. The defence sector in the UK, it's very important, and for me, it's getting stronger all the time. The networks are developing. There's lots of considerations in terms of your site security, your IT system security, and all of those things, which we're heavily investing in, as I know others in the supply chain are as well. And the good thing about it is it's a great source of pride as well, because it is really good examples of British engineering and what it can achieve. And it's something that I think we all as a team throughout the shop floor feel very proud that we're a part of manufacturing these parts for submarines and so on.
And I know that in case of the applications you've got are not offensive arms, they are defensive in nature. And Arnab, I know yours is. Tell us about DARPA and the US Department of Defense and what role they've played in bringing some of these important products to your business.
Look, I mean, we have had a very, very strong relationship with the US Department of Defense and with the US Homeland Security for quite a while, actually. I mean, we have had continuous contractual sort of relationship with them since 2008, when we were a very, very tiny entity in the northeast of England without any presence in the US. It's vital in innovation because particularly DARPA is it's an agency of Department of Defense. They look beyond the curve a little bit. They are looking at what solutions is required for US needs, both in defense but also in civilian applications, and how to create solutions from the best minds around the world. Bring the best of industry, best of academia, put them together in a team under a fantastic set of program management and drive that innovation through into the market. We developed a unique solution from 2014 to 2018 of networkable radiation detectors, which are used for protecting cities and large urban areas against the threat of nuclear dirty bomb. And that's now in operation in New York City. That's in operation in 26 countries. We have sold this product, and it really catalyzes the innovation through real market traction, which is very important.
And that has led on, as I understand it, to a contract that was announced recently with DARPA to develop technology, forward-developed technology on pathogens, which led indirectly, I suppose, to some of this COVID materials that you
very much so, as a continuation of that thinking of providing a networkable, wide area protection systems against radiological dirty bomb. Back in 2018, DARPA actually started funding a program for adding a biological detector to that network for protecting cities against bioterrorism. Now, we today know what the effect of a bioterrorism could be, but again, that forward-looking thinking of DARPA is really, really important. What we are developing there is completely unique. A completely autonomous airborne pathogen detection system using DNA sequencing, which runs automatically without any human intervention, not a scientist in sight, which could be mounted on the top of a bus, moving around in a city, sampling air and providing the full pathogenic signature of that air on a continuous basis over a network.
So if you had a crazy with anthrax, it could be spotted.
Absolutely, but let's go back to January 2020. If this device was available and ready and was in Heathrow Airport, we could have identified an unknown virus present in the air as early as January, maybe December, maybe October 2019, and the world could have been a very different place in the last 2 years. So what we are developing can become that bioresilience system that the world perhaps needs to get out of this pandemic, but more importantly, to prevent any future pandemics.
And to also to put it in cruder terms for the northeast of England, the supply chain to make these products, and Sharon, this applies to you as well. I saw the run of this photocopier-like machine that Arnab has done, but the plastic moulding will be done in the northeast, and
we, in all our products, we try to keep our supply chain as close to home as possible, mainly for selfish reasons, actually. It works better. We may save some money going to the Far East or wherever, but ultimately having suppliers based around the company, as a small business, as an SME, we can manage them better.
And Sharon, you are both the beneficiary and the cause of that kind of cluster in your own business, aren't you?
Yeah, do you know, it's really exciting to just hear about that new product development and what it could mean globally, and just hats off to you for how far this has come. It's so exciting, and I would love to be part of your supply chain. I'll just speak to you about
She's
that
very
later.
good, by the way. She's very good.
We will definitely talk.
All right, Jamie, I'm going to bring you in for the last section. You've got a great event coming up. We'll flash a slide up that tells us all about the people that are involved. This event is the Showcase Northeast. It's on the 8th of July, connects like-minded professionals, introduces them to invaluable local sector opportunities. It's a promoter of innovation. Come on, Jamie, tell us more about it.
Yeah, it is, and it links on from the last point, really. It's, supply chain localization is big on the agenda now, and obviously we've had Brexit and now COVID, and some of these big supply chains are looking for more local content, and Showcase Northeast is there to showcase those opportunities, really, both from supply chain opportunities, but also from to showcase some of the innovation challenges of the day. So we've got 30 speakers lined up already. They're going to speak in one day, but we're going to record all of them. Some of them are going to be pre-records. We're going to host them online for businesses to access, for the next 6 months, and we're going to store them on a virtual platform, which will also have virtual stands, opportunities for meetups, one-to-one meetups, community forums, chat, and all of the above, really. So we're covering sectors including civils, offshore, automotive, process, rail, digital, built environment, health and life sciences, and public procurement as well. So there's going to be speakers from all of that and more. And some of the highlights for me, really, the biggest highlight of the whole day is really just the willingness of all these big supply chain initiatives to be involved and be engaged, to help to really go deep and look at the local content. It's fantastic. So we've got we've got Andy Aldrin, who is Buzz Aldrin's son, talking about space commercialization. He'll be supported by the European Space Agency and talk about their supply chain opportunities that they're looking for. We've got one of the most exciting projects, obviously, for the Northeast is Dogger Bank, and we've got Equinor talking about that fantastic sort of, the biggest wind farm development project in the world.
Equinor, the
Really
Tier
exciting for
1
Teesside.
contractor, and they're obliged to give 60% local labour, local content, so press them on it.
Yeah, there's Sophia too. We've got Leonardo, who Sharon may know of, big aerospace defence and security organisation, make helicopters, radar mission systems, £2.3 billion organisation. They're engaged, been really supportive. They're going to do a talk. We've got HS2, biggest civil engineering project in the UK. They're really engaged. We've got Bays, and talking about rail, Northern Rail particularly, and how companies can get involved there. The Northeast Automotive Alliance have brought together the Driving the Electric Revolution story. They're bringing that story to the event, because that covers off electric vehicles, obviously. And on top of that, we've got Atom Bank. They're going to talk about digital and what's it like running a digital business in the Northeast, and from the Northeast, more importantly. And we've got Professor John Byrne from the Centre of Life, and we've also got the National Horizon Centre down in Darlington talking about what they're doing down there. Something I'm really interested in, we talk about the 2020 has been a roaring decade of innovation. It's going to be really exciting. I think the 2010s were stalled a little bit. There was some great innovation, but nothing really drove through in terms of productivity. There was lots of great digital innovation, but more on a social media context. It was more fun stuff. I think everything that's happened the last 2 years is really going to drive digital transformation during the 2020. That's really exciting. Health and life sciences, obviously, is going to change the world. But also this thing, and obviously we've got the drive to net zero as well. Massive, we've got to get there by 2050.
Is it all digital, or have you got anything face to face? I know it's impossible.
This is
to
digital.
Make it, yeah,
this is a digital event.
I suppose.
But we're gonna, the point of the event is just to showcase. You can't go into too much detail. After the event, we're going to run workshops with all of these suppliers, so people can get more sort of narrow and deep about what they need. What are the actual opportunities? Are they relevant? Are they applicable? Do they have the right skill set, capabilities to service these kind of clients? But I think it's a great start. And like I said at the start, the willingness from all of these organizations to get involved in this has been really heartening and really excited about it. Another shout out, actually, I really want to talk about a lady called Kate Beaucherel, who's trying to talk about blockchain and cryptocurrency. I don't know how much people know or are aware of the decentralized, the drive to decentralized finance and what that's going to mean for the future. That is, I think, one of, if not the most breakthrough, one of the most challenging and most exciting breakthrough innovations of the 20s. I think it's going to be around decentralized finance systems. So that's fantastic. She's going to talk about that. Bitcoin, etc.
Jamie, I'm sure it'll be a great success, and you've put a lot of effort in, and you have a very formidable RCC North, a very formidable network, and if anyone can speak up for the Northeast, you can. Sharon, I know that you and I are probably desperate to get back on the rubber chicken circuit and the stale bacon bun circuit when we can. I'm sure Jamie is as well, but these innovative little digital platform events are certainly playing a part, aren't they?
It's fantastic. You know what? The greatest thing about this is that it makes it so accessible to so many people, and for lots of different reasons. Some people wouldn't have been able to attend that event in person. And this just means that now it's genuinely open to all. It's a real leveler, isn't it? It is. And I think that's something that we can definitely take away from this. Even things like, looking at this next generation, how we get kids into work, into STEM in particular. I've always done a shadowing day once a year. I've had a schoolgirl with me for a whole day. This year, I have half a dozen schoolgirls with me on a WhatsApp video call for the whole day. So actually, you are able to spread whatever your message is, whatever your inclusion is, you're able to spread that so much wider now because it's digital. And I think that's a fantastic opportunity to come out of this whole thing.
All right. Well, Sharon, Jamie, Arnab, thank you for joining us. That's it for Business Unmuted this week. Join us at 5 next Wednesday.